we have a few win and in situations, and we're going to highlight
Yeah.
one of those for you now. Producer Alex has sat the feature pod. It features it features the gamers. I'm sorry, I need to pronounce names correctly, so 1 second. Thorn Garvin, Cody Head, Uriah Belts, and Robert Brown. So if we look at gamers, Uriah Belts is at 17th with 15 points. Thorn Garvin at 19th with 15 points. Cody Head is 23rd with 14 points. And Robert Brown is nowhere to be seen in the first 32 players. Robert Brown is at 33rd
Yep.
with
Count
12
33.
points. So Robert Brown is only playing spoiler here as far as I can tell. At 17 points with
Likely so.
yeah,
Yeah.
likely playing spoiler at 17 points with a 35.83 opponent win percentage. Not the greatest breakers, and in fact, the worst among the 12-point players. So we see Sergio Navarro, Gavin Arquette, Eric DeVito, Joseph Stacco, Andy Beach, Pablo Andres Martinez Castro. We have a ton of players. We have a ton of players in a position to win and in. It's so exciting. I'm super jazzed. I see in this game, I see Tivit versus Blue Farm versus Blue Farm versus Blue Farm.
Yep. Tivit in
Uh,
fourth seat again.
Let me put this through my calculator. Crom Ludovic's Opus Timna the Weaver. Crom Ludovic's Opus Timna the Weaver. Okay. Crom Ludovic's Opus and Timna the Weaver, and then Tivit, Seller of Secrets. There have been no games in the history of Eminence that contain 3 blue farms and a Tivit. However, in games containing both blue farm and Tivit, blue farm won 143 total games. Tivit won 77 total games, and 90 of those games went to a draw. So, and there are 159 games won by another deck that was not either one of those two. So, uh, the numbers, Mason. What do they mean? The numbers don't lie here. Very likely that a blue farm deck, and not just statistically because there's 3 of them, but also because of the numbers. Very likely that
Yeah, it might
one
be
of them
like
will
an
take this down.
80% chance or so.
Yeah,
Just given that Tivit's in fourth seat. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It seems likely, and all of these people pretty much have presented a win and in. So very exciting. This is quite a live game. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, in Blue Farm, very flexible deck. It'll be interesting to see what each of the Blue Farm decks kind of mulligan to and the strategy they take.
for sure.
Um, my guess, a lot of early Timnas, like Timnas and Croms probably flying back and forth. Maybe some just traditional good old combat.
Certainly.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've never seen it before, so this will be interesting. I'm sure these players have also never played in a pod like this. So many blue farm decks.
TK in first seat, notably flashing the mind break trap on a 7, 3 lands on a mind break trap. So that might be the type of game that they figure they have to settle in for.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
it's going to be a slog, and then Tivit needs to balance. Hey, I'm in fourth seat. Like, do I want to get something going, or do I want to play the card advantage game? I don't think they're
yeah,
favored in the card advantage game, and they got to balance a lot of red elemental blasts and pyroblast being fired at the Tivit on the
yeah.
stack.
So Kyle, the image that Tivit tends to have is the tabletop image. Do you think that going forth, Tivit can afford to settle into that type of gameplay pattern, or do they need
I
to
don't.
jam early?
Yeah, I like. If my back is against the wall, I think I'm not favored as Tivit in fourth seat
Yeah.
against this type of pod. And I think all the other Blue Farm players are going to be a little slower, but I don't know if Tivit can like play that kind of game as well as three other Timna Crom decks can.
I
So I think
I
given
think
the
I
pod
agree, yeah.
composition, I think I'm going to be the one who needs to rock the boat, unfortunately.
All right, Kyle, I have a very important question for you. Are you blocking Timna with Timna in this pod?
I think it probably depends. There's
Depends,
going to be
okay.
different flavor. I don't know how it depends, but I think it depends. And it's going to
Okay.
be a lot of whoever is just in the first couple turns, whoever just kind of runs away with it the most. Because
Yeah.
while the commanders are very valuable, we've seen a lot of games just being determined by the cards in the 99. Early Ristic, early Mystic,
Mhm.
things of that nature, I think are really going to set these players apart. And even more importantly than the seeding order here, like
Mhm.
Blue Farm in third, that means if Blue Farm in second tries to fire off a win attempt, going later will actually be beneficial in this pod.
Yeah.
It's kind of a blink, and you might lose if you are the first to blink here.
I think we will see the multifaceted nature of Blue Farm in this pod. I think you'll have one
Yeah.
person who tries to jam, one person who keeps mid range, and one person who kind of tries to develop slowly. And of those three, I think it's the mid range player that tends to have the more favorable matchup. But I'm just very excited to see, and the game could end really early too. I've seen these types of pods end on turn two with the Oracle consult or whatever, and no one kept interaction. Or in the case of the player in first seat kept a mind break trap, and you only cast two spells for Oracle consult. So I'm very
Yeah,
excited to see how that
yeah.
goes.
This is where the judgment calls are really going to come into play. Like I'm just going to jam on turn two. Does someone have it or not?
Yeah,
And Tivit beginning with a Gemstone Caverns, pitching Flusterstorm.
we love that. So we've decided on keeps. I think Tivit went down to 6, and then a Gemstone Caverns. I believe.
Pitching the Flusterstorm's kind of a loud statement to how they
Yeah,
want this game to play out. It's that's not
yeah.
my first choice in this pod.
Yeah, certainly pitching the silver bullet is a choice that was made, and we'll see what happens. They're restarting the Life iPhone apparently. Oops, I guess it needed to wake up, but I will say, chat. I know that you're maybe a little grumpy about free blue farms or whatever, but I think it's going to be a very good pod. Very exciting game. Lots of good magic played. I mean, there's a reason that we're watching it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'd say on the surface it's like, oh, Blue Farm most popular deck, whatever. But this is kind of gonna be an interesting case study in how these players adapt to just such a different pod composition that they're used to. It's
yeah.
usually a more varied pod, and it's kind of easy to form a game plan. But how do you adapt in cases where everyone is adaptable? It's a
Right.
lot of other commanders are more commander centric, less good card centric, like Blue Farm is. So everyone has the ability to kind of turn on a dime. So that's going to make for a very interesting game.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm wondering what the holdup is at the table right now, but yeah.
Yeah, resetting the phone app.
Did we not have we had one on the table, right? That was ours? Okay. Or it could be Charlie's. Okay. Perhaps the round hasn't officially started. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the round is ticking
Excellent.
down. Phone is set up. We're ready to go. Hello, good luck.
We're doing it. Great job, gamers.
Winning in.
Win and in for pretty much everybody in this pod. Plateau, maybe an Esper Sentinel. Yep, okay, Esper Sentinel
Wow.
on the
All
play
right.
is a good opener. Absolutely. I would hit that with a misstep. What do you think, Kyle? Would you misstep that?
Yeah, I think so. This Esper Sentinel is gonna probably be able to attack with the Timna against Tivit for at least the early turns, so it stands to draw a lot of cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Little ancestral recall in white probably in a
Yeah,
turn
and
cycle.
like the roles are already changing with that Esper Sentinel.
Yep.
They're, you know, seat one able to just say, "Hey, I'm gonna draw a lot of cards."
Notably, Ancient Tomb into Mana Vault allows you to pay for Esper Sentinel. Uriah, very responsible. What a good boy.
Yep.
That is what is that land?
I've never seen that, but my gut tells me it's a command tower. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
1,000 command tower arts, so that's a
that's
safe
true.
bet.
A turn one Lotho out of Tivit is a pretty
That's a good
good
start.
development piece. Yeah, it's a pretty good
Yeah.
start. Second land here, probably looking to develop off that Esper Sentinel. Might not have much else to do. See what happens.
And curious if Cody's black bordered cards are real or not, but that'd
I
be pretty
mean,
sweet.
the beta underground seat would be quite a flex
Yeah.
for FBB. Fimage, that's probably gonna be a Lotho
Yeah, Lotho
or
or
a
Esper
second
Sentinel.
Esper Sentinel.
Lot l-
Oh, wait a
lot of
second.
good clones here. Okay, they got the dry erase. Nice, thank you, helping us out.
Oh my gosh. You know what else would help us out? If you use the All Trades Media tokens provided on the table, you can get it at alltradesmedia.etsy.com. Use code Eminence for some money off your order and help
Yes,
us
that would be
out.
very helpful. I'm happy that Thorn is writing out. Lotho is indeed the
Lotho.
phantasmal image.
Excellent.
But yes,
Uh,
please use that active player token.
yeah.
Currently on Cody's turn, fetching with an Arid Mesa, assembling not all four colors quite yet. Had
There
the
we go.
option to complete the quad with a plateau, but chooses to emphasize blue.
Looking for
Maybe
double blue.
indicating maybe an oracle line because plateau often gets hung in those types of turns.
Certainly.
A lot of mana, so they're obviously not going for crown. They don't have red.
Ooh, we don't have
Is that a
red.
misfetch?
You cannot.
Oh wait,
No, no, you cannot cast
Are-
wrong.
yeah,
Thank you, Alex.
yeah, we're gonna
Alex is
fix
on the
that.
way.
All right, everyone, slow down. I think okay. So it sounds like plateau was likely
And now
the what they
information
wanted to
has
fetch.
changed. Yeah. Information has
Yeah, the camera froze, but also on a judge call. So we'll see. Okay, we're back.
Yeah, okay, good. We've reverted. Alex, great
Okay,
save.
and I see at least a lotus petal here. You don't want to double
Yeah.
spell. You don't want to walk it in.
Yeah. We
I
can
believe
still
all players need to vote to let the take back. I think if one person allows a take back, then the take back happens. Is that
I,
right?
I just I don't know. Yeah.
I see. So yeah, the judge call may be a little hairy, just given that some
Yeah.
additional actions have taken place. We'll see how this resolves.
It'll probably be a few failures to maintain game state.
Yeah, everyone missed it. It's been a
Yeah.
long tournament. If you're playing Blue Farm or Tivit, you're playing for a lot of minutes in this tournament.
Yeah.
So
Certainly.
it's understandable. Even experienced Blue Farm pilots are at every turn you got to think about maybe 5 or 6 things that could happen,
Yeah.
and you gotta you have to be very deliberate in the line you take. Each one typically has a gotcha, and this is where we see that. Like the plateau is not a desirable land, but needed to be is probably the optimal choice given that they want to go with the Crom line. And
Yeah.
Crom looks like a good I like the path that Cody has taken in second seat to try to establish a quick card advantage engine.
I feel like with two Lothos and an Esper Sentinel on the board, the other players are fairly disincentivized to cast a second spell. So with the
Yeah.
Crom coming down, it's almost like a blue and red rule of law, really.
Yeah, and it may be a multi-turn setup to get Timna following and then just attack with a 4/4 against someone who doesn't have a Crom or a Tivit setup yet.
Yeah.
Because yeah, double spelling not very appealing at this time.
Yeah, at the
Um,
moment, not the best play you could make.
and interesting, just could have copied Esper Sentinel, instead chose Lotho in first seat, did Thorn. So knowing that Crom is going to be a big part of this game, there may have been an interest to make another Esper Sentinel.
It, yeah, it's a creature. There's no way Thorn could have drawn, right? They cannot ID. They are all dead if they ID.
Yeah, Robert Brown on Tivit, fighting for their life in fourth seat. It
Hmm.
needs very much needs a W. It would take a lot to convince them to draw since they're basically conceding. So yeah, this is and that's a tricky part about the last round. If there's different incentives amongst four players on who can play and who can draw. They probably
Right.
saw Robert Brown in the pod. They're like, oh, okay. If I even had a shot, it doesn't matter.
I mean everyone I think everyone in this particular pod is forced to win at this point. I don't think 16 points gets any of the 15-point players in, and certainly Robert Brown is not going to be interested in drawing to 13 points. So excellent. Okay. Okay. All right. Easy enough resolution.
Okay, so we're backing up.
Okay, so the judge resolution that happened, thank you, producer Alex, is that they're doing a backup. The crumb is not being cast. They got the wrong land and they kind of got to deal with it. And the Uriah's top card is staying his top card. So the card that was drawn for turn is fixed. And we return to the turn before that we were previously in.
Okay, and they get to untap the mana vault too.
Yeah. What's the question in chat? Sorry. That is actually a really good question. Dang.
I'd go
If
with,
you're
as far as cheese for rounds, I'd vote for probably Havarti.
okay, the Havarti pairing.
Mhm.
Uh I think I would be the Gruyere rounds.
Yeah, I like that. That also sounds pretty classy. Okay, busting that lotus petal that you can kind of see from the camera as
Yeah.
this reversal was unfolding. Not ideal, triggering Lotho and Esper Sentinel to cast the spell though.
No second land. Very interesting.
Whoa. Just colorless lands for Uriah in third seat.
He's um uh
And a lot of cards in hand.
it's holding up
What
that
does that tell
warping
you?
whale, so
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
right. A lot of good whale targets. No, likely like an early Ristic study or something, I would guess, and just
Yeah, I
needed like
assume any mana
colorless or
source, yeah.
colored source. Yeah, you have a couple
Yeah.
turns and just kind of a gambit that doesn't look like it's paying off. Cheddar
Chris in
luck next time has been
Chris in
declared.
chat. Cheddar luck next time. Beautiful.
Chat really leaning into this. I love it. Over to
Havarti pen.
Tivit, we have not seen great showings from Tivit so far, just kind of stuck in the fourth seat both times they've been on camera. Can they redeem themselves?
Is this
Looks like
the
there's some fast mana development at least.
this the Dan Fraser Soul Ring being cast and then yeah.
Paying for Esper, okay. Responsible.
So there is the third land that we saw in the opener. And it you know what? It seems like their gambit might be working out. So you have two open attacks here. You're gonna draw a bunch of cards. We love that. Drawing cards very good as it turns out.
Yeah, continuing the capitalizing with the Esper Sentinel.
Yeah. Orcish Bowmaster from the top rope. No, okay, we're just dang, that would have been fun.
Yeah, because Cody in second seat did not pay for Esper Sentinel on the Lotus Petal, right? So,
No, did not.
but kept the
Oof.
mana up. So
Yeah.
telegraphing some form of interaction there. Not
Something,
sure
yeah.
what it was not used for the turn cycle.
Not gonna be on the Mystic Remora, it seems. We went to clean up and we discarded. Is that a planeswalker?
I can't see that first seat
It's very
has some
bright.
glare. So yes, that's in the wrong spot for this. Cody in second seat though, finding another fetch to fix missing the red mana that was, likely a mistake last turn of not getting a red source. So able to kind of recover from that. So that's good.
There is a stink bug in my office making gross smells. Ugh. Ugh. Yuck. Uh Using the active player token now. Love that. We're putting a fetch on the stack.
Okay,
Oh,
Lotho was discarded by Thorn in seat
that's
one
funny.
last turn. Just an embarrassment of riches on the card
Yeah.
front. Has
Legendary
one
creature, so
Lotho.
yeah.
Volcanic Island, the fetch from the wooded foothills. This
We've got
could
all
be
our
a
colors.
Timna. Yeah, it could be a Timna. We'll see. Um,
Timno, not
yeah,
the worst here. You don't really have to worry about Uriah at the moment, so developing is probably fine. We just saw the Force of Will
yeah, here
flash, and we have an
comes.
Underworld Breach in hand as well, so
Okay, that's we got some things going, and there's likely an additional one mana interaction spell that was held
yeah.
up for the prior turn as well. So some safety in Cody's hand in the second seat.
Uriah drawing and passing.
Draw go.
No land.
So far, every time Blue Farm has had the opportunity to cast one of their commanders, they have done so. So that I think that makes sense. I think that's a good strategy in this matchup. And
Yeah, and
Tivit,
we're streaming Big Tiv.
does this resolve? You mentioned there's a force of will in Cody's hand.
Yeah, I
Oh
feel like it's a worthy target, but it looks like we are voting.
yeah, two treasures and saying, okay, clue for you, yeah, clue for you, clue for you. One political aspect is to say if you don't have dockside, your opponents might have dockside. So give me more treasure and
Yeah,
I can crack the clues and like not
certainly.
be the sitting duck. Um, it looks like that was it looks like Robert Brown's kind of like, yeah, I'm getting a
Yeah,
clue. So
yeah.
uh, yeah, it definitely an opportunity to politic in a world of your all of your opponents are dockside. So
Yeah.
um, dockside is a threat if you don't have dockside in your hand.
So
So
we are
there's an
paying for
opportunity to
fish.
play that.
Yeah, absolutely. we are paying for fish. We have one live Timna attack.
Yeah,
And
Tivit's great in this spot. Just a 6/6 flyer in like
yeah,
dummy board states. It's kind of like having protection from the One Ring for a turn because you of
yeah.
course want to get two attacking with Tivit ASAP to generate the two extra treasure.
I feel like if I'm second seat there, if the Timna comes in at me, I'm blocking, but I'm not willing to trade my Timna for a Lotho.
And they discarded Lotho, Thorn
Yeah,
in seat one, so kind of. eh, I'm not sure exactly what to gauge from that because Lotho's not particularly good. So I don't know how good Thorn's hand is, but discarding. So that's like I don't know how many extra cards they need between that and Mystic Remore and Esper Sentinel. They're like they have so many cards. Brain Freeze discard,
that's a
a very
convenient
reasonable
discard. Brain
discard.
freeze
Yeah.
to the bin. Yeah.
Yep.
So honestly,
So in that
second
spot, I
seat.
would not block the Timna in that
Yeah.
spot. I'd say you have enough cards, like whatever.
So
I think
honestly,
I'm interested in developing my board.
second seat, we just have. It feels like we are perhaps in the driver's seat because it's just very good. We got Timna and Crom set up. We got a full hand. We got counter magic. We got a win con. There's the final fortune being flashed.
Yep.
So
Yeah, the
here's a
final
flash
fortune could be
duplicate.
helpful. Flesh duplicate, real
Tivit,
scary.
flash
Yeah,
duplicate
that's
Tivit.
gonna be
Yeah.
a Tivit. That's yeah, that's scary. And there's mana
Yeah.
to fight, but they don't fight. It's gonna happen.
I
Again with
wonder,
the dry erase tokens, very nice.
is it gonna be a Tivit? Is it gonna be a second third Lotho or a, I mean, I feel like Tivit is the correct choice.
Yeah, Tivit's usually right, and they let so they've interestingly enough, the way Cody's been playing, a lot has been kind of telegraphed about what their hand, what their game plan looks like. They could have force a willed that Tivit, and that would have been a
Certainly.
reasonable thing to fire off. But they chose to let it resolve. So it tells me they probably had the flesh duplicate in their hand and on the prior turn.
Yeah, very, very likely a 200 IQ play.
Yeah, because that Tivit, like I haven't been on the other side of Tivit very often, but I cast it very often, and it's horrifying when it is in play, especially in this type of board state where it's gonna be hard to get something really going.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much. I feel like the Tivit being there early is very strong, and yeah, I just don't know. Even at this point, I'm wondering if Uriah even draws the land if what the plan that he has takes off. You know, I think it's in everyone's best interest to put him into the dirt, so to speak.
Yeah, there's an ancient tomb. It's going to be dealing damage once they finally do start getting something going. But there's so many Timnas in play. Everyone's just incentivized to just get as many free attacks in. So Uriah is just a punching bag for them to draw cards.
Yeah, and here's Tivit connecting. So we have another Tivit trigger. We've got literally the entire world for Tivit. More
Yeah,
mana
just
than
got to
makes
watch out for
sense.
Cody's Force of Will and Final Fortune. If anyone goes too
Yep.
deep, the Tivit treasures just always threaten just stealing that perfect window.
Yep. We've got Final Fortune live. We've got Force Will. Cody probably feeling fairly secure despite okay, so we're cracking a clue to draw a card because we've got low cards in hand and we like cards. Uh,
And also, Robert Brown is someone who does play Tivit a fair amount. I know Temujin is typically the name that comes to mind when you think of Tivit, but I've seen Robert Brown and his Donald Trump politics, you vote, I win deck list pretty
okay.
frequently when I'm looking through top results.
What are we casting? I don't
And Robert is
recognize.
on Urza, so if if Urza comes down at some point,
Oof.
like
Yeah, if Urza comes down, wow.
I love playing Urza in this deck, and this is exactly the type of game for it. And
Chat, what
Gilded Drake. I like Gilded Drake. like really heads up deck building, I would say,
Yeah.
for this list.
What card is that, chat? Someone tell me. Donald Trump politics. You vote, I win. What card is that? Is it the one that was just cast by Robert Brown? It's Digger's Cage. Okay.
Okay, Digger's Cage
Oh,
cast.
it's the movie. It's the movie poster one. Got it.
So
Alex, you don't need to apologize for anything. Except for the streaming quality. No, that's fine. I'm kidding. Uh,
yeah, a little bit of blurriness. We'll get that resolved soon. Digger's Cage for Robert Brown, though, threatening. There's a brain freeze in two different graveyards, so they're a little close to threatening the breach line. They have one of three pieces. So kind of forcing Thoracle to be the route that these players take to actually close the game.
yeah, certainly.
Good threat assessment, like Digger's Cage, great in a triple blue farm matchup, as well as, blind obedience. And it looks like Robert is also on Dauntless Dismantler to kind of stave off some of these dockside extortionists. But we've not seen a dockside yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen the dock side yet.
But
Everybody
they're
seems to
juicy.
be.
Look how juicy they are.
Yeah,
Everyone's just
yeah,
bottlenecking Robert on these clues.
yeah. The dock side is very fat currently. Alex, producer Alex, is there any way you could stop sharing and then reshare the screen because I can see individual pixels. It's very crunchy.
Yes, we're going to restart.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's only through Discord. It's only for us. Chat, you're still getting the best, but yes,
Yes. All right, we are back.
excellent.
Active player coming in clutch here as we
Exiling an
return.
SSG. Okay, so we're exiling Simeon Spirit Guide to make double red here. Is this the final fortune? We are final
Final
fortuning.
fortune. Okay. Shots are being fired.
Yeah, yeah. This is it. I guess the time has come. Unfortunately, you are final fortuning into a force of will. So I hope your hand is stacked.
Yeah,
But
this is great for Robert Brown if they start
yeah,
fighting each other.
if the blue farm players start expending their interaction on each other, it looks like final fortune resolved. I do see a demonic tutor in hand. Uh, for the player in first seat. I don't know if I see any counter magic, but I think we are just kind of going for it. Cabal Writ, exiled for the
Okay.
turn, and then
Yeah,
now
just
going to
discard
your
it.
final
Okay.
turn.
All right. There's a lot to fight through. This is like with three blue farm players, you got to be so sure that this is going to work because no
Here's
one
the
has really
silence. Yeah.
fought for anything yet.
Yeah. Here's the silence. I feel like if you are in second seat here, if you pass on silence,
Yeah.
you die. So
Yeah, Robert's like, yeah, let's go. Force a will, like dodge that bullet. You
yeah,
keep fighting for me with
trigger the
Cody
fish,
first to
trigger Esper
respond.
Sentinel. Yeah. So we have the potential for 2 draws here, but we're just getting 1. We've paid. Might indicate a lack of further interaction. I don't know. Still got a blue open. We'll see. Yeah, the fierce guardianship back,
Fierce. Okay,
triggering the
make some
Lothos and the
treasures.
Chroms.
Yeah, a lot of double spell triggers
Yep.
going.
Yeah.
Uriah may have something to protect, however, just not really incentivized to
Yeah.
throw their hat in the ring for a long time. Be like,
Yeah. Not
you guys
really.
work it out, not my problem. I'm
Yeah.
so far behind, I don't care about it.
Uriah is yeah, so we're cracking 2 treasures. We're cracking a clue. We love cracking clues. Very good. Casting spells is my favorite. There's a misstep that we've drawn on the silence, triggering fish, triggering Esper
Interesting.
Sentinel. We get 2 draws. I love drawing cards.
Yeah, and there's bound to be some back and forth between Robert and Cody about, okay, this is obviously the problem. It's up to us to really fight this. Like,
Yeah,
who's doing what where? With Cody being the first to get priority with everything that Thorn throws onto the table.
absolutely.
Because you can kind of bully Tivit a little bit in this spot, knowing that, be like, all right, I pass. Like, you have something. No one's fought anything.
Yeah.
Also, like on turn two, when Cody didn't pay, they left open Underground Sea and let
Yeah.
Esper Sentinel draw. And I don't believe they played anything yet that would indicate that. So they have
Ooh.
like one piece of free interaction as well. Robert can use that information to his advantage.
And we know that first seat here has a mind break trap in hand, so kind of just waiting for an opponent to cast a third spell type of situation. When you saw the Pyroblast come down on the misstep, we're seeing what we can do here. There's a Force of Will. Exiling
Okay.
Force he had just had everything.
Yes.
Force of Will, exiling Force of Negation. And a response, I think we're cracking a clue here to draw a card. That's a Rite of Flame that was drawn.
And Esper Sentinel notably triggered by
Yeah.
both Robert and Cody, but not Uriah. So the Esper Sentinel you must draw if they do go Thoracle into Demonic Consultation. So that's
It looks
something that they need to watch out for.
it looks like we've resolved down the stack and the silence has resolved, so Esper Sentinel not going to be a problem.
Okay.
We are drawing with Timna on our final fortune turn. We have the demonic tutor in hand, extremely restricted on mana at the moment. Actually we have 3 treasures. We're not too restricted on mana at the moment.
Yeah, should be they should be good to go.
We got a land, demonic tutor in hand, and that should be all she wrote for this particular round.
Very
Thorn
interesting conclusion, a very interesting turn here. Very unconventional to be the first to go for it
and
as
just
the blue farm player, especially with the fish. You could just sit there and draw even more cards. You had so much protection. Um, so yeah, being the first to go for it against three
uh,
blue decks, really a show of strength by that hand, and it's paying off.
yeah, I mean, I suppose if you just have it, you just have it, right? Like,
Yeah, they had so much. And yeah, still had all these mind break traps remaining if the stack war continued.
demonic tutor. I'm sure that it was some part of either Oracle or Consult, but we're
Yeah, that
the
or Dockside,
crafters.
and they already have it.
I didn't see him take 3 because Lothar got blocked. Yeah, so it's tosses Oracle, holding priority on the ATB trigger, demonic consultation. Game over. Uriah, there is the land.
Wow, really curious what Uriah had in hand. Very, like, not definitely displeased about how that game played out. Looking like, okay, like, what was I missing?
Okay, so we are
But
going
no
to grab the
interaction
winner.
either. Uriah just had nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing to fight
Uriah
with.
just had
Just
a barren hand.
yeah, just all in on likely I don't know, heuristic would be my guess. Okay, looks like Smothering Tithe being shown, so maybe just a gambit to find one white source, use the mana vault to get
Mhm.
Smothering Tithe, and then just chill and get all the treasures.
We
Which would have
hope.
played out well if had that had they just drawn one colored source. So
Yep.
unlucky break
A
there.
thorn here.